So I'm glad you guys are here. So let's start with meditation. So take your attention inside. And the simplest instruction is to allow yourself to relax so deeply that your mind stops and your body disappears. And then you allow your energetic system to show you itself. Because when your mind stops, there's room for that. So just instead of concentrating on allowing it to stop, concentrate on allowing your body to completely let go of you so that you can feel the real you with a capital Y, the real self. And because you're in the protective field of Annassa, there is nothing but benevolent energy around you. Which is not to say that you need protection. The protection is in your own benevolence, of course, and trusting that. We're the ones who choose every step of the way. And the beginning of compassion is being compassionate toward ourself. Allowing all the kerfuffle to just fall away as we breathe. The breath is the connection. Just concentrate on making the exhale as long as you possibly can, and then wait a bit longer before you inhale. And the simplest thing is to allow yourself to be pure spaciousness. Now feel and see the blazing sun at the crown of your head. And just breathe into that. Sun is what powers our solar system. Without sun, we wouldn't be. Sun is masculine, pouring energy out. Everything is in an outward direction. Sun has no receptivity, or it's not so obvious. And human beings are made up of everything. Sun can burn everything, but it also provides the warmth and the nourishment for growth. Allow your attention to drift into the third eye in the center of the head, above the roof of the mouth. This is moon in the third eye. Moon is reflective. Moon nurtures. With the moonlight, it seals the humidity into the ground so that the plants can grow at night. Moon nurtures everything it touches with softness, soft moonlight. Moon nurtures, protects, nourishes, loves, maternal love. Moon also changes all the time. It's never in the same place. In the sky, that is. It's in the third eye in our bodies. Most of us think our eyes are way higher than they actually are because we don't experience our forehead. So the third eye is actually way lower than we think. It's more like in the center of our head. Yeah. Feel there's a sense of finding the right spot. And this is where the inner light begins to shine in the third eye, milky white light. Beautiful, silky. always concentrating on making the exhale as long as possible. And of course, when we talk about gender with any of these energies, they all contain both, just as each of us contains both. And in every arena, we are somewhere on the spectrum of more and less of the masculine and feminine. We all have both. This is the reason that many of the tankas that you see, the spiritual paintings from Buddhism and Hinduism, most of the deities have at least 4 arms. 2 of them are female and 2 of them are male. That's why there is a union within us. And most of the tankas look demonic because they are fiercely guarding the treasure within. And in our inner world, we have to check for our own deception because we often can't experience where we're locked out. feeling into the throat. The voice of communication, Mercury. Swallow. Maybe turn your head to release your neck and feel into the back of your neck. Using your breath to open. And breathe into any restriction and thank it for showing itself so that you can begin to release it. This is the benevolence we show toward our own work, the gratitude for seeing. And then we naturally fall into the heart. Venus. Hmm. Drop your awareness just below your belly button. You can think of this arena as Jupiter, the planet that everything it touches grows and prospers. From this place, it's easy to drop your attention down to the tip of the tailbone and feel your breath align with the subtle motion of the tip of the tailbone going forward on the exhale and backward on the inhale. So holding to this inner experience, gently allow yourself to open your eyes and be two places at once. We're delighted to be here with you this morning. We wanted to take a good long time to deepen your awareness of your energetic self, which is what we truly have to offer. And We use as many words as we feel might help you to participate more. Feel free to tune us out and just pay attention to the energy because that's what's real. But the words seem to help, so we offer them. Although understanding that they can't contain anything but the direction of the experience. But we feel you all participating, and we're so grateful for that. How may we serve your own inner practice this morning? I'm having some trouble keeping my eyes open, so if anybody wants to speak, please just go ahead. In this particular time, we all have people connected to us who are having difficulty. And so it's important that we count our blessings and hold to that benevolence within ourselves, that open-heartedness. And because other people are in pain is not a reason for us to reduce our frequency. And it's very difficult to understand that people must do the work to resolve their own pain. and the relationship in ourselves between the tough love that it takes to face our own pain and the benevolence to allow ourselves to grow beyond it. That balance is the same in the external world. So we try to master it in ourselves so that how we live is an expression of that mixture of tough love and benevolence that's required to be at peace. Because that is the whole point, because it's the peace that allows us to just dissolve everything with a breath and be free.
That subject that you were just speaking of is so relevant to a situation that we face in our daily lives, actually. We have a person who slowly but surely has integrated himself to
Yes, you've
our,
spoken about this person to us.
yes, we have.
So, where do things stand now?
Well, as you said, there is the balance between tough love and allowing this person to be on his own journey in his own time, in his own way.
Is
And
there a question in there?
yeah, because what what is happening with impacts us, me especially, because I work with him. Um, it's brought up a whole lot of questions in me as to how to respond well. And the the question is always how much attention and energy and effort do I put into a relationship that is almost always here, but this person has no apparent spiritual practice to draw from and is in a lot of pain and everything goes wrong. He's kind, he feels like a child in an adult's body, and both Wells and I, we want to be good influences and also supportive in some way. And
So,
it's
is the
hard,
addiction issue still present?
as far as we know, it is not, we've spoken to him about it, so he does not um, partake visibly, let's just say. If it's happening, well, when he goes to visit friends and stuff like that, he says he drinks and he has to stay overnight at their place because he can't drive. So that's happening. And having gone to Al-Anon, I know that there's nothing really I can do. It's got to come from him. Um, and at this point, what would you say? The question is,
Just I'm remembering you went to Al-Anon because of me
yeah,
and uh, learned so much.
the detaching with love. We wouldn't have adopted another child at this point in our lives. And that's what it seems like has happened. And yet we have no parental um,
Clout.
clout.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Oh, you do. You have the purse strings.
yeah, we do. And
You do.
that's been hard. We've been the tough
You,
love has come there
yes, you
in that
create the
area.
conditions and you require the change, or the relationship doesn't have value. There has to be flow in both directions. And you make challenges that are possible, that just take one, like, you know, go to one AA meeting a month.
Hmm.
That's possible. That's possible for anybody.
And that's something that we have the right to ask because I always felt that if a person doesn't go of their own volition, they
Well,
can't
they
go.
don't even know it exists until they go.
Yeah.
They don't have any volition if they're not aware of the opportunity.
He is aware of that, and he's aware that Wells went and that it was very helpful. And we've taken other people to AA meeting. He has. But one of the here's the main question. There is a obvious deterioration in his mental faculties. He doesn't remember things anymore. He everything he does now has problems. Um,
So you have
so
to be very clear in your directions, and if he cannot do his job, then he can't do his job. And there's no longer a foundation if your relationship is completely business. Then
right,
if he can't do the job, then there you are.
right,
You,
and it's hard because he does work all the time. He goes around and he's basically a groundskeeper now because he likes that and he does that well. But what we've asked him to do are the things he signed up to do, like carpentry, like rebuilding the barn doors and
maybe he
that sort of
can't
thing.
do that.
I know, I think he was able to do that sort of thing
Right.
in the past, and now it seems like things are way more difficult for him. And it's hard to know.
So you give him a deadline. I mean, you just have to create boundaries. And
Yeah,
if he
the tough
can't
love
do
part.
it, then you say, okay, this is the job he can do, and you give him what that job is worth, and you hire somebody else to do the other things.
Right.
But you're all tangled up in a personal relationship, and so
Yes.
personal relationships can make demands. From the personal relationship point, you can. From the business point, you can't. I mean, it's a little bit tangled
From the
because,
personal relationship, you said what?
well, from the personal relationship, you can make suggestions, and if he doesn't follow through on any of it, then there's no grounds for a personal relationship. If he really wants you as counselors, then he'll do what you say. And if he can't do what you say, then you start encroaching on his space by hiring other people to do the things you really need to get done. And then there will be less and less for him to do.
Right. We've been encouraging him to get some other job.
Yeah, and he's not doing it because why should he when he can just hang around your place and collect money?
That's sort of it, isn't it? Um,
So,
but I have delineated, I have been very firm in delineating what he wants to do and what he thinks needs to be done around here and what I want him to do or what we want him to do, and that he's got to concentrate on what we need and want rather than what he thinks.
well, you have to tie money to that.
Yeah,
That's
I have.
yeah.
I
So
have,
then
and he's
there you
noticed.
are. Yeah, so you're
He's
doing
noticed.
fine.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it doesn't need to cost you so much internally.
Yeah, that was my question.
Yeah,
I've
there's a
spent
lot of going on that you don't need to
I
do.
have to follow him and watch and pick up after him. Just like if I was with my grandchildren when they were
You
small.
understand you have a choice about that.
Well, but he leaves his tools on the
No,
ground.
no,
That's
you can, you don't have to have this situation. You can say, look, you can't do what we need you to do in the time that we need you to do it. We have to move on. It's simple. You can just cut it. He can't do it. And you don't want to do that because you want to help this person. This
yes, and he is
person.
going through an incredible life change too.
So, if you want to live with that, don't spin about it. Decide, I want to support this person, so I'm going to do it. But it's the spinning, it's the internal spinning that is costing all your energy and keeping you from your own work. So
Right.
you can
Well, it is the
decide whatever you want to do, but make a decision and don't stew. The stewing is just, it's sort of like not flushing. It just kind of sits there and you're stewing in it instead of letting it go. The key to dealing with external pressure is to make a decision and live with it as long as it works. And when it
how do
clearly
you
isn't
get
working, you make a different decision and
okay?
you live with that. But
Right. Well, part of I'm very slow in making decisions because I let it percolate. And I speak
yes,
with my husband and our other friend who is very helpful when she's here um about that.
so we're losing the question. Tell us
Well,
what the question is. How can we help with this? Because what we're seeing is just a lot of this, and you're not really asking us anything that we can help with.
you have already helped. You've said what you've reinforced what we have intuited and have been bungling along doing. Um, we have actually come to the place that you have described. Um, and what it is now is just establishing the reality more firmly. But I don't like to make decisions without really giving it a lot of
Well, here's what we
consideration.
see.
Pardon me?
Here's what we see. We see you wanting to support him in the changes he needs to make. That is an
Yes,
entirely separate issue from what it is you need him to do. So,
right.
first of all, separate those two things in your mind because you can support him, you can give him money regardless of what he can or can't do around your house if you can afford it. And you be very clear that you want behaviors to change on the basis of that, but then you drop your expectations of what you want him to do around the house. These are two different things, and you can separate them. You can
Can we
separate.
do both?
Of course you can. You can give him money without requiring work.
No, we can't.
Okay, then you have to tell him that you're going to hire somebody else because he's not doing it. It's very simple when you separate the two things, and but it's the complication between
Yes,
wanting to have your service be there when you can't really afford to do both, but he's requiring you to do both because he's not doing the work. So you figure out what you can do and you support, you can invite him over for coffee every day, but you can't employ him because he's not doing the work.
right. Mm. Yeah, the complication is that he lives here and he
That's a
gets,
big complication. We didn't know about that.
oh,
That
really?
that is a huge complication. Yeah, why
Yes,
does he live there?
he has okay, it was mission creep is what Wells calls it. Um, he he and his partner split up. He bought a motorhome. He brought it, he asked if he could bring it here to fix it up. We said, okay. He fixed it up to a certain extent. Then he parked it in the RV space, which has hookups, and uh, started staying there all the time. And that's how it happened. And uh, and we thought, well, this might be a good arrangement, having your handyman actually
On the property.
on the property, right? But it turns out the handyman part is slipping. He is creating barn doors as we speak, so that's happening. But it's been a whole lot of, he wanted to plant his own garden and he wanted to take care of he wanted to be a gardener, really, and we don't
Oh,
need him
no,
to
he
be a
wants to
gardener.
live for free on your property and grow his own food because he's
Well,
very poor.
right.
I
He doesn't
mean,
want to
there's
grow his own food. He wants to grow flowers, but
oh yeah.
we grow the food. Anyway, and he doesn't eat vegetables anyway. He just eats meat and potatoes. Um, that was, it's really hard. But I have a direction. Thank you so much because you reinforced the things we've intuited.
Mhm.
Um, and uh, we needed that because we're kind of
Yeah.
on our own playing it by ear. And as you say, well, we've had people stay here for periods of time that were in transition,
Yeah.
and they were here intentionally because
Hmm.
they needed a home to be in while they were, you know, in this flux place. And so
Hmm.
we're used to that. This is harder than any of those. They were all younger people, and he's in his 50s, so he's not a kid anymore. Um,
And yet,
and yet, right, Wells says, and yet he is such
Well,
a
yeah,
kid.
chronology has little to do with
Oh, yeah, we
maturity.
know. We know. But anyway, I said you have given us reinforcement. Wouldn't you say?
yes.
Reinforcement of the path that we are on. It's an ever evolving situation, and I try to respond in the moment to the reality rather than try to make a decision based on the past or whatever. We'll but the taking him to Wells can't take him to an AA meeting um at this point, but we could suggest it. I feel as though that's overstepping somehow. Um and we have asked him to have, we told him this is a sober
Environment.
environment. And so he does not obviously partake while he's here. But I'm pretty sure that's such a contribution to his mental decline. He's too young to have mental decline. I feel, I mean, anyway, the process continues and possibly we'll keep you updated as to what we come up with as a response to the
Yeah,
situation.
that's a very complicated situation.
Yes, it is. It is. And mission creep is what Wells calls it because what were you going to say?
Oldest kid we've ever had.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we wouldn't have adopted him. We had a chance
Yes.
to
Yeah.
adopt a
It's one of
kid.
those things that when you're nice and you keep allowing
Yeah.
it.
And we do want to be of service in the world. And in a way, this is cosmically correct because who needs our benevolent energy? As you say, we are so fortunate, more than the people who are stuck somewhere dark and murky and um I mean it's a
But stuck and
tangible.
wanting to grow is very different from stuck and wanting to escape.
Yeah, but there's both going on with him.
Well, so, you know, you carry the weight on the wanting to grow part.
Yeah.
And but there has to be some indication that that's really the most important thing to him.
Mm, yeah.
And
It's, that's
and
a
and
battle.
you can have that conversation. You know, we have to keep this space for somebody who is really trying to change. We don't see that happening with you. We would like to see that happen. And so we're willing to give it this much time for you to demonstrate that you want to make a change for a better life in yourself. You know, you can have that conversation because, you know, you want that space to be inhabited by somebody who can really, really, you know, bootstrap themselves out of their stuck.
So when I have broached the subject, that subject to him, he insists that he is changing for the better because he's here. He insists that that is the process that's happening. And I don't
Well,
know what goes
ask
on.
ask him what that means to him.
Right.
Show me, you know, tell me how you've changed. Tell me how you know, do you feel better inside yourself? You know, are you
He does seem to, but like I say, the what you have talked about being the complex, if it was just that he was here to learn and grow, that would be one thing. If he's here to do a job, that's another thing entirely. And
exactly?
and so that's the complication that we are
And
because
so you can start the conversation by saying, when we allowed you to move here, this was our agreement. That agreement doesn't seem to be the same agreement we have now. And you talk about how it's different and what you need and what's actually happening. And you just move from there.
yeah. Well, I've been doing it in a kind of a less clear way that you just said, but I've been trying to do that
Yeah,
little by
it's,
little
you
and
know,
being tactful and kind. You know, I
Well, sometimes being tactful and kind means you don't get your point across.
Especially to somebody who's very bullheaded. Um,
Somebody who's bullheaded and really wants what they want.
yes, they do.
And
Yes, he
and
does.
you know, what we're seeing is there's a combination of things. There's substance abuse, which is escape, and there's also a little bit of laziness. And wow, I found this great situation. I don't have to do more than I want to.
But he's busy all the time. He's got ADHD. He has to be doing something all the time. So he
Yeah.
is doing something, but
Yeah. Yeah. So you guys just have to figure out what you can and can't live with and be clear about it. But
yeah, that's
we're
what
going to
we're in the
say
process of.
again, we're going
Yeah,
to say again that you can put as much energy as you want to in this situation, but the more you're putting into stewing about it, the less you're doing your own work. And
right. Well, I've given up
that's what we
doing
really want to
stewing.
talk to you about. You
Yeah,
know,
exactly. I'm
you
giving
know,
up stewing.
yes,
Um, for sure.
you know, it
But
can be a whole lifestyle.
I do have to discuss things to become clear.
You don't. You don't. You have to be quiet and you have to go deeper underneath all the kerfuffle and
Well,
feel what's real.
there is that for sure. I mean,
But it's a habit with you. We really want to tell you this stewing is a habit. It's like what we've been doing for the last 15 minutes. You know, we've been allowing you to stew, and the stewing is a habit that you think is leading you to a solution. It's not. The solution is under all the stew. You get really, really quiet and
mm,
you ask, what's real here? What am I really supposed to do? And then you get quieter and you wait for the answer.
yeah,
The
got
answer
it.
doesn't come from here. It comes from way deep inside yourself when you touch what's real. Then, then the answer, the fulcrum point in you will show where the fulcrum point in the situation is. You have to be feeling for that, not just going through this habitual, I'm going to come to the right answer in my brain sooner or later, which is what the habit is.
Well, I know it isn't always in my brain. That's for sure. But I feel what you're saying
Yeah,
and
just
that
let it
it's
sit.
true.
Let it sit and let it go really, really deep in you because it can make such a fundamental shift if you allow it in below the stew.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
where the fulcrum point is.
right.
Yeah, you feel it. It's right in there.
Yeah,
And
I got
making
it.
that shift in yourself will change your life so deeply that you will not recognize who you
Mm,
are because you will become a much lighter and finer person from really going under that stew, really
yeah, I
going under.
know that. I know that experience. So,
Yeah,
thank
yeah,
you for reminding me
yeah.
that
Just
of
go
of
there
it
and
here.
hold
Yeah.
to it, hold to it, hold to it deeper, deeper, deeper. Whenever you find yourself stewing, you go there and you will change beyond imagination.
That'd be good. Thank you so much. That was wonderful.
What else?
Hi,
Hi. So happy to see you.
nice to be here. I can't resist saying this. But if I was hired to do a job and I didn't do it, I would be fired. That's just the bottom line. I wouldn't have a job. So, but what I wanted to say was I appreciated that long meditation, which grounded me in a way that I need so badly because I've been kind of a little bit hysterical about Jennifer's brain tumor. And it's shown itself by I'm having all these accidents. I fell down, I smashed my finger, I'm having all these little, nothing serious, but that's how hysterical I am. I'm just totally out of my body. But I'm saying that meditation helped me. So thank you.
You're so welcome. We're going to encourage you. It will be online as soon as Brenda gets it up, which is usually within the next couple of days. And so you can do it whenever you want. You just go to the YouTube channel and do it again, because we've been feeling that in this time, what we really have to offer is our energetic field. And in making that the priority at the beginning of class, it's really why we're here and what it is that we speak, because we want to show you your own next step. And so, finding that stillness in yourself, that small, quiet voice that allows you to know yourself with a capital Y and a capital S. Finding that's what we have to offer, is the doorway into that experience. So we really appreciate your valuing that we have to offer.
Very much appreciated.
Mm. So we also want to say we want to appreciate your willingness to receive. The willingness to receive and allow the unfolding of the energy within yourself is what creates the change. It's not anything we think or say, it is the opening to receive the the gift of Annassa. To become the temple yourself.
Yes, it is a gift.
It is a gift. Freely given. And we encourage you each to take it as deeply within yourself and cherish with everything you have, to allow it to change you. Who wants to be the same? And allow it to be new and different. If we expect our experience to be a repeat of something wonderful that we had before, then we've already limited ourselves with our expectation. Allow it to be new, different, and to really rock your world. Your internal world. Allow yourself to get really, really quiet. And then you get quieter. And then you get quieter until everything just goes still and fast, beyond imagination. And then you let go some more. And you just keep letting go until you just dissolve. And then you let go some more. And then you let go again. And you understand that there is always more. And it's always beyond imagination. We can't allow our imagination to limit our experience. And how very, very interesting how grounding this expansion is. Because we go nowhere, we're just truly here. We're just truly here. Without agenda. Without anything. We're just present. Until we experience it with a capital P. That was a soapbox. We hope you shared it. It's been really, really fun to be with you. We really love you. Lily, anything? Okay. We love you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here. Till next time. Bye for now.